This is how we're seeing it actually being either run today or organizations adopting pieces of this. So at the overall top, you've got your target account universe. So this is everyone that you want to go after from a go-to-market standpoint where it makes sense. Now, Growth ABM, this is an expansion of the one-to-many framework. This is what the Six Senses and demanded base of the world they're trying to push, but they don't have that underlying architecture because again they are purely just the MarTech platforms. So in Growth ABM, this is how you can cover, let's say, 50, hundreds, if not thousands of accounts with an ABM approach. So you've got your target account universe and you're segmenting it out into three distinct tiers. Now, some organizations, it depends on how many resources and how big of a difference you can make amongst the tiers. Sometimes two is all you really need. But at its core, basically what you're doing is you're saying, okay, tier one, these are my most strategic, highest priority accounts from a go-to-market standpoint. We're going to put full tactical eligibility behind them, as in, we're putting more resources into these accounts. They're going to get full personalization. Then you have tier two, which is more accounts than tier one, and they have less tactical eligibility, less depth of personalization. And if it makes sense for your org, you've got a tier three as well. Tier three is all the remaining accounts. They have low tactical eligibility, think things that scale. And then they also have low personalization. Again, things that scale. So Growth ABM, this is where we're seeing a lot of the smaller organizations, what they're running for their ABM program in general, because of the fact that coverage is crucial for them. They can't run what we call enterprise ABM. So this is what we're seeing the massive organizations do for their account-based programs. They're running a one-to-one, which is pure one-to-one. So we're talking just from one account, you are doing a 9, 12, 18-month-long campaign. Everything from the messaging to the tactics to the content, it's all personalized, all crafted just for one account. Or you've got one to few. One to few, what we're seeing is it's typically 25 accounts or less in a cluster where all the accounts have similarities across the themes that resonate, where they are in the sales cycle, and it's a very cohesive group. And they've got full tactical eligibility for full personalization for each account. And in order to run enterprise ABM, you have to have massive ACV, especially if you're going to put your resources from headcount and from budget and from internal teams all behind a pure one-to-one play. You have to have enough ACV because you're truly putting your eggs in that one account basket. And so that's why we're seeing a lot of the big organizations who have very large ACVs, they're utilizing enterprise ABM. The smaller orgs are running growth ABM. Now, what's really fascinating about this is the larger enterprises are all shifting towards a more growth ABM approach in their demand gen efforts. Have heard this countless times from ABM leaders, specifically in 2024, where their leadership has come to them and said, hey, love what you're doing on the enterprise ABM side, but we need to expand this. Can you run a separate motion that covers hundreds or even, 1,000 plus accounts? And so what they're doing is they're adopting the growth ABM approach in order to do this. And as they're already running their enterprise ABM, in order to drive a holistic account-based go-to-market, what they're doing is you've got your target account universe, they get bucketed into the tiers in growth ABM. And then for your enterprise ABM, they're pulling from their tier one and tier two accounts that are already part of a growth ABM motion so that everything is really cohesive. And what's funny is it's like the enterprise ABM has acted as a Trojan horse for growth ABM to be adopted within these companies. And so this is what we're seeing a lot of the larger organizations start to make the shift towards here. And why 2024 especially is because enterprise ABM, its superpower really lies in customer expansion, in expansion plays. So with the economic climate, a lot of these organizations are looking at expansion as being a huge revenue driver. And so that's why they're like, okay, how do we take with all this goodness on the enterprise ABM side and just blow it up?